So check that out. But I was reading the programme notes for Jurgen Klopp, and he's talking about Wijnaldum, who's going to be leaving on a free. And this is what he said. And I'll read it from all word for word from the programme. On the playing staff, we have a hugely important player who's out of contract with us. This is hard to write because you never say never, and at the time of writing this, he has not confirmed his intentions for next season, but I must recognise him just in case this is Anfield farewell. Gini Wijnaldum, an LFC legend, now and forever. What this person, this wonderful, joyful, selfless person has done for our team and club, I cannot sum up in words in truth because my English is not good enough. He is an architect of our success. We have built this Liverpool on his legs, lungs, brain, and his huge, beautiful heart. If, and it still is if, he goes, he does so knowing we, as his teammates, are eternally grateful for having this special human being come into our lives. I love him, and he will always be family. Can I find somebody to write something like that about me, please? How amazing is that? I mean, did you realise Wijnaldum was so loved?
Well, he is by Klopp. I mean, I don't think there's going to be any doubt about that. I mean, when you're a coach or you're a leader of anything, if your team does well for you on your watch, every player, when you look back, you're going to talk about them like that, aren't you, Aid? You know what I mean?
No, hang on a second.
They've been special under Klopp.
He's talking specifically about it's been built on his legs, lungs, brain, and his huge, beautiful heart. Do you honestly think he's going to say that about all those players who won the Champions League and the Premier League?
Well, I think he'd have to talk about
all of them. Well, it's going to lose a bit of impact, isn't it?
Well, people forget though, don't they? When they come down the next one that goes from Liverpool, if he leaves on his own terms, out of contract, so be it. But I mean, whether it be Van Dijk, he's going to speak about him that way. He's two wing backs, Alexander-Arnold and Robertson, the goalkeeper. Look at him, how special he is now. Can all these be absolutely starting 11? He's chosen starting 11, which we all know which is his best one. Are they all legends? Yes, they might be because they've won something there under Klopp. But realistically, you start comparing Wijnaldum to players like Souness and Rush and Gerrard and Carragher. I mean, are we putting them in that sort of company?
Well, let's throw it out there because the Liverpool fans, they will understand, having been so close. I mean, I was looking at the Liverpool Echo today and they were genuinely calling Wijnaldum a legend, and he may well be. But I think from the outside, non-Liverpool fans have looked at it and we've recognised the stars, the goal scorers, the fullbacks, all the players you've been talking about just then, the captain Henderson. I don't think any of us thought Gini Wijnaldum was up there with the legends. Any of us would have thought, if I'd have read that out and not told you who it was about, you wouldn't have said that's about Wijnaldum.
No, I would have said there's a few players before that.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think he's probably, again, and this will be another player, he'd say the same thing, and a lot of Liverpool fans have said, as Firmino. He'd be on that same kind of level. He's important to the team, and I see why he likes him, but it's not what makes them tick. You need players like that in your side. But you're looking at Salah and Mane, how special they've been, and probably Henderson and Van Dijk and the two wing-backs. That's what makes Liverpool, takes them to another level. But you need your bankers like your Wijnaldum and your Firmino, probably in the starting 11, Aid. I get it, but I won't put them two sort of players as the legend.
I am still amazed by those words. Wonderful, joyful, selfless person. I love him and he will always be family. Jurgen Klopp cannot write that about all those players who won those two trophies. He cannot. Otherwise, it completely loses impact. So, listen, this isn't us criticising Wijnaldum or anything like that. We just want to know, is he really a Liverpool legend? Let's hear from you. 0871722. Let's speak to Dom, a Liverpool fan, about Gini Wijnaldum. What do you think, Dom?
Hi, boys. Thanks for making the drive home a bit more enjoyable every day.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
Show.
Cheers.
Yeah, on the legend thing, listen, my first game was early 70s, read through and through, and I just think there's different tiers of legend status. Say, for example, if I'd challenge any supporter of any other Premier League club to say Dalglish wasn't a legend. So what we're talking about is a footballing legend that you think would walk into any side. And for that reason, I don't think Gini's a legend in the same status. But in-house, if you like, I mean, he's a bit of an Anfield legend because of the Barcelona game and because what we got him for and how he performed. So I think there's different tiers. So if you said to me, would I consider Phil Neville a legend, I'd say no, but I would respect the fact that a ton of Man United supporters think that he's a legend in-house. He wouldn't walk into, wouldn't walk into a Liverpool side, but he wouldn't walk into a lot of other Premier League sides. So
but I disagree. Do we really think? Do United fans think Phil Neville's a legend? No disrespect to Phil, but I mean, legend is
a great servant. I would say that he is a top servant to the football. With Wijnaldum, he's been there, 5 years? 5 seasons. I think he's been a regular under Klopp, same as Firmino. Yeah. But both of them, I'd put them in. Very, very important players for Liverpool, but they're not what makes them tick.
Well, the thing is, Goughie, it's every supporter's right in-house to consider one of their players a legend in their mind. And I think that's where we're crossing the line. There's sort of world status legendary, if you like, Dalglish, and rattle off others.
Rush. Yeah, loads of them.
But then there's in-house legendary status. And Gini, for me, that night against Barca, legend nailed on. But I wouldn't put him in the same legendary status as a Dalglish, and I think they're different.
So we got in different tiers of legend now. It's getting ridiculous, this.
The way I see it is, Dom, it's a great point you've made. He's had a legendary moment, or a legendary game, which was the Barcelona game. He had scored a couple of goals, and he was pivotal to that fight back. And an incredible night at Anfield. So that's a legendary moment that Gini Wijnaldum has had. But does that make him a legend?
So he's the same as Origi then, yeah?
Yeah, that's a great comparison. Terrific. You would never say Origi's a legend of Liverpool's history, would you?
No.
But he's had a legendary moment or two.
Won't be in the top 500.
Paul's a Liverpool fan. What do you think, Paul?
Good afternoon, guys. And while this really, really pains me to say this, just like to say congratulations to Man City and all their fans on winning the Premier League this weekend, or having it confirmed and the trophy this weekend. Gini Wijnaldum, not a player that I really wanted or thought anything of when he came to us from Newcastle.
They've just been relegated with Newcastle, hasn't he?
He had indeed, but you could say the same about Andy Robertson and Hull. But if we're going to say legend, I agree with the last caller. The King, Kenny, he's the legend at the club, along with Ian Rush, Souness, Michael Owen, that kind of ilk. I would say if we're going to say legend, he's probably more of a modern day legend with the squad that's done such remarkable things over the last 3 or 4 seasons. Obviously, he was one of the players who came on and turned the Barcelona game on its backside and gave us that wonderful night, and has helped us along with the last few seasons doing the things that we've done. Is he a super world-class player? I don't think he is. Will he always have a fond memory in Liverpool fans' hearts for what he's done recently? Absolutely he will.
Paul, listen, thanks very much. There's a bit of context there. Let's just a little comparison. We'll go to Aaron, a Liverpool fan, in just a second. But Graham Souness, 5 titles, 3 European Cups. And I know Liverpool fans love the fact they've won the European Cup and the title in the last couple of seasons. And it was a long old wait for that top flight title. But, Graham Souness is a Liverpool legend. Just using him as an example. There's others with that many trophies as well. He's a true Liverpool legend. How can you put Gini Wijnaldum with 1 Premier League title and 1 European Cup next in the same bracket?
Saying that, Gerrard's not won a league title, but I would put him in the legend status. He's pure legend status.
Effectively his whole career, and led them in a way that was so difficult. Aaron's a Liverpool fan. What do you want to say, Aaron?
Good afternoon, boys. Just want to speak, listening to the 2 boys on before me there. I have to agree with pretty much all what they say, and then you just touched on Steven Gerrard there. To put Gini Wijnaldum in the same bracket as Gerrard would be ludicrous in my opinion. Yes, you can argue, he won a Champions League, same as Gerrard, won the league, Gerrard didn't. But Gerrard carried the club on his back for many years, and to put him in the bracket of Gerrard, Souness, Dalglish, who you've touched on, is you can't, in my opinion. Now I'm only in my early 20s, so I didn't see that era of the club, and certainly in my time as a supporter and a follower of the club, Gini Wijnaldum would be sort of a club legend in my era, but not overall. There's too many in front of him that have touched the club in more important ways, and they've had so much more of an influence on the club as opposed to he has. But sad to see him go nonetheless, for the price tag that he came in for, and not really a player that we were too aware of prior to the season with Newcastle. So great servant, but I'm afraid in my eyes I can't call him a legend. Maybe of this current era, but not overall.
Do you know what? And I think it's a good point, that. And I think they're slightly mixing up the words here, Jurgen Klopp, and he is an absolute master in what he's achieved since he's been at Liverpool. But Emmy has said it here, and I think you've got another one up there from Chris as well, who have both said, but the difference being a legend, which is a word that is used too much, and we've talked about Souness there, we talked about Gerrard and Dalglish, who were proper legends of Liverpool, and being a cult hero, like the Origi for what he did, the important goals. He's almost like a cult hero. He'll never be even considered a legend, but kind of liked by the fans because of a golden moment. Although Wijnaldum's played a lot more than him, over the 5-year period, he's had some important games and he's been part of a team that's done well. So there's a difference, isn't there, between that legend and being a cult hero.
Yeah, but...
And you've got to be careful of that, using that word legend.
The cult heroes get their managers talking about how their legs, lungs, brain and huge, beautiful heart have formed the basis of what's been brilliant about Liverpool.
What's he going to say about Henderson and Fabinho?
That's what I can't wait to see this. This is talkSPORT.